Thanks for joining us. A slasher episode, Jared. Just me and you this time. I'm sure everyone else would have begged off anyway. But a little slasher sojourn like we like to do. Today's episode, 1982's The House on Sorority Row. We have covered the remake, I believe, which is Sorority Row, which I'm a fan of. I'm a big fan of. So it'll be interesting to see how this one stacks. Before we get to that, what have we been watching?
I have not watched very much at all, really.
Half a dozen full moon features.
No, nothing really.
Nothing.
I finished The Kingsman.
Now, how was that?
Yeah, it was
you were
alright.
pretty sort of down on it.
Yeah, it was okay. I probably enjoyed it the least out of all three of them. It's got some reasonable ideas prequel-wise, but it's like some of the parts are full-on drama and actually work pretty well, but up against what the other Kingsman movies have kind of put together, it's a little bit out of what you would expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, reasonable bit of work. And I've enjoyed the series.
Okay.
Somewhat. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that was it.
I haven't been watching much, mate.
All right, well, mine was pretty brisk as well. I've watched a couple more episodes of The Hardy Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really enjoying it. It gives me nostalgic vibes.
Yep.
Because I read the books when I was a kid, and there's been so many different iterations, and this one's, again, slightly different. Again, they use characters that in the books were associated as male, but there are several who are female now. And the change hasn't done anything to it. It still works out exactly the way you want it. So I'm pretty happy where they are. I'm halfway through so far, and season 2 just came on Disney, so
Good.
got a little bit in the bank.
There you go.
We watched Bad Boys for Life.
Mm-hmm.
My wife wasn't really a fan, and she was sort of like, I haven't seen the first two, so I couldn't really get to the characters. And I'm like, well, there was nothing else to get to.
Yeah.
You don't really. These guys do nothing. It's not like Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
But the third one does a pretty reasonable job of jacking up the stakes a little, which I liked, and I think kind of twists a little bit at the end, and gives you a reasonable kind of, why this person's doing it type of thing, why the villain's involved. It's not as funny as it could have been. I think you could have worked more along the lines of the whole getting old angle.
Yeah.
But action scenes are solid.
More tearing hammies in 50-metre races and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think for a series that hadn't had a movie in 15 years, I think it's a really good way to bring it back if you're going to.
About as good as you could have hoped for with that
exactly,
one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Bad Boys 2 was very ordinary. So.
I mean, no Michael Bay this time around, although he's a cameo appearance, I believe, at the wedding. But the action is still shot in a similar way. Yeah. That kind of fast-paced sort of stuff. But I thought it went pretty well. Now, I tried, when we were bringing up the slasher sojourn, I put forward one that I found on Tubi called The Majorettes. Mm-hmm. It's a one from 1986, a slasher. It's not a well-known slasher.
Yep.
I believe it's written by the guy who also wrote Night of the Living Dead. Not Romero. Russo?
Mm-hmm.
Russo?
Right.
Fucking shocking.
Yeah.
It's made for like $80,000.
Yeah, see, my reservation it wasn't whether I'd watch it. I mean, of course, I would watch it. But,
no one else.
Not sure anyone else wants
it. It was fucking horrendous.
Yep.
Horrendous.
Okay, good.
So, I've seen it. I've taken the bullet for you. You don't have to watch it.
You kind of mentioned, I mean, the phrase was put out there, no business making film.
Correct. Yeah, these guys would probably have no business making film. Okay. It's directed by the guy who played the main zombie in Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they had $80,000 to work with. It starts off, it's predominantly a slasher and then it turns into an action movie. It's fucking ridiculous.
Sounds
stupid.
good.
And I went to the cinema last night and saw The Lost City. Yeah, look, I enjoyed it. Turn your brain off. You know what you're getting. It's good fun. Got a few laughs. Silly as a wheel. I mean, you're not going to buy into any of it much, but I thought some of it was quite humorous. And there's a bit of chemistry there. Sandra Bullock's always good. I always like Sandra Bullock. And she plays that kind of awkward type of role really well. Mm-hmm. And then Tatum sort of plays the doughy, that idiot sort of character quite well too. So I enjoyed it. And I'm about halfway through another slasher on Tubi called Graduation Day. Talk about having no business making film. These guys had no business making slasher film.
Right.
So, that's it for me.
Good. Sounds like you had a good week. A good week of selections there.
Yeah, solid week. Solid week. All right, let's take a break. Here's the trailer for 1982's The House on Sorority Row.
A certain kind of girl joins Pi Theta sorority. A girl who likes to party and likes to get close to her friends. A girl whose extracurricular activities were more daring than most. A girl who could turn her fantasies into reality.
One more fling won't set us back any.
Don't you realize what we've done? It was an accident! That doesn't matter! Do it. Why don't you go pull the van around?
Then again, Pi Theta was different from other sororities.
I'll get back at you for the last thing I do!
Because in this sorority, nothing is off limits, as long as it's fun for the girls. So when it came time to say goodbye, they decided to make real sure that no one would ever forget the girls in the house on Sorority Row.
House on Sorority Row, 1982. Directed by Mark Rossman, who went on to direct quite a bit of, I guess you'd call it, teen fare and Hallmark stuff. He directed A Cinderella Story. It's produced by Rossman and John G. Clark, who produced Dark Windows. It's written by Mark Rossman and Bobby Fine, who wrote an episode of Full House. It stars Kate McNeil as Catherine, Eileen Davidson as Vicky, Harley Jane Kozak as Diane, and Jodie Draghi as Morgan. The budget was $425K, and it made $10 million. The gory payoffs to the murder scenes were added after the shoot and filmed in the backyard of director Mark Rossman's parents' place. I'll go first here, because I'll let you tee off a little bit later. I really enjoy this one. I actually think it's one of the best 80s slashers that's not called Friday the 13th or Halloween. It's really well directed. It has some style about it, some actual style. It's not just sort of rammed together in the mould of what you would have expected. And the acting's not too bad. Some of the gore's pretty decent. There's some really good things to it. The plot intricacies is where these things sort of fall off a little bit. The plot kind of goes all over the joint. I'm still slightly baffled by the ending. I don't know whether we'll get to it, but I wasn't quite sure what the go was there. But overall, I would watch this any day of the week over some of the crap I just mentioned. I gave it 3.5.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I gave it 2.5.
Let's talk.
I agree that it's pretty well directed, pretty stylish, but it's also it's right in the thick of some of the worst 80s slashers in terms of the decisions that are made, things that happen, that sort of thing. I actually found early on some of the sequences of the kills were just someone wanders around for a couple of minutes and then is done in very quickly and with not a lot of blood and whatever, and then eventually it does pick up a little bit in that regard, which I do think is pretty solid. You're right about the plot. It's a bit kind of all over the shop at the end. I think it works in some ways by kind of keeping the list of suspects very small and just kind of bouncing around between the three kind of major ones that are put forward. Well, sort of two, and then they sort of introduce another one. But
I mean, they don't really tax you hard on a mystery, do they?
Not really. But yeah, it is quite enjoyable. I don't think I would put it right up there with some of the best. Like, to me, it's leagues away from something like My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, that's a...
I mean, there's no... I could have done with a sheriff who just about keels over every time there's a slight revelation.
Yeah, exactly.
Brought to his attention.
And look, you know what, though? And this is just me here. I would go ahead and say it was better than The Burning.
Yeah, maybe. I'd probably have to reassess, but I think I probably enjoyed The Burning a touch more. One of the things that I think was fantastic was the going into the spoiler territory pretty early and that sort of thing. The costume. I think the costume looks fantastic, but it's only very...
Yeah, you see him for 1 second. He kind of looks a bit like Michael Myers.
Yeah, I think it looks really, really good, but it's very sort of brief. But overall, yeah, it's good fun. It's definitely something I would revisit a lot quicker than I would in some other
major
entries.
Graduation Day.
Well, I'm probably going to revisit them soon after you've given the rundown on both action and horror in one movie. I can't wait. So yeah, 2.5 was where I landed. It was creeping. The longer it went, the more it was sort of creeping towards a 3 for me.
But it couldn't quite get
there.
So whereas I went Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Down the guts. All right. The film looks pretty damn good considering it cost less than $500K.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've looked at a couple of films recently that were in that ballpark that didn't look anything near as well as this looks.
Well, it had the same amount of cash as the Toxic Avenger.
Did it? Oh, shit.
Wasn't that?
I mean, the Toxic Avenger, yeah. Look, and there is just chalk and cheese.
Yeah,
it looks really, really good. I think the idea, the location, having one location, works a treat. It means you don't have to go too far outside of it. It's a bit like Hell Night. Yes. Take the same approach in Hell Night, and it would have been similar budgeted.
Yep.
But having that one location where you can use the whole place
and the exteriors and whatnot.
it just works really well. And this is smart filmmaking for a budget of so low.
I have one very notable exception to that about spending all the time in one place. But aside from, I agree totally with what you're saying. You've got a reasonably big location to work with, but it's stretching your dollar in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Really well directed. Rossman. I believe he was definitely a Crossman. He was a protege of De Palma.
Okay.
So that's why it looks the way it looks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots some of those really interesting shots, a lot of steady cam type of stuff, following people.
I dare say De Palma may have lost his number. You know, he's got new phone, who's this kind of situation.
He's a protege of De Palma, but De Palma doesn't know who he is. Everyone was a protege of De Palma back then. It was the 80s, for Christ's sake.
Oh, Brian, it's Mark. Mark who?
Yeah, Rossman. You're my suit guy, aren't you? But there's the prowling camera and all that kind of stuff, and some really cool shots. I think Rossman actually shows a lot of talent.
I think it looks like the person behind the camera had some idea of what they were doing.
I would like to have seen what a bloke like this could have done with a sort of a camp slasher.
Yeah.
You know, something a little more right down the line of your slasher film. Gore and FX are reasonably solid. They're a bit crude.
Yeah. I think it's a situation where they don't use them much because you can tell in brief glimpses that they're not
They're not great.
They're not high level.
No.
They did smart things like there was the throat cut in the cemetery.
Yeah.
It looks pretty bad, but they only show it for...
Is that the one with the back of the hammer? He uses the hammer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool way of killing
kinda
someone. But it scrunches up, but they only show it. They cut away really quickly.
Yeah.
And they come back to the aftermath. And then you can
which I
see
think is a good choice.
Good choice. Yes, there's one where they use the silhouette on the wall instead of actually using seeing the death. The head in the toilet looks great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, good job.
Had a big dinner.
Leatherface had been there.
That's why it was clogged up in the new movie. All the pipes were just unleashing.
I like the opening scene in 61. It's kind of shot slightly different style in terms of it's washed out.
Super blue. But I did like that they didn't just go with black and white.
Yeah.
They went with something a little bit different. Gives it kind of a dream.
Yeah.
Dreamy kind of, it kind of puts the thoughts of, the birds drugged out and whatever on the pain meds and all that sort of stuff. It gives you that kind of look to it.
Yeah. And I like the fact that it kind of quickly kind of sets up a little bit of something that'll come back for us.
Yeah.
Doesn't give too much away, but it sets up a couple of players that we'll see later.
Yes.
And we'll get to know what's going on.
It never really stretches too much further than that.
No.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and I really like the shot of the nurse and the doctor about to deliver the baby in the kind of glass of the clock.
Yeah.
Comes up to the glass of the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually come back to that clock later. 20 years later. He actually, early on in the film, he swings past that same clock.
Yep.
I kind of dug the whole... There's a period there where Mrs. Slater kind of does some things that... And this is probably as best as you get from the whole mystery. But she interrupts Vicky having sex and then tears the waterbed up and she calls her a filthy something or other. And then she's ripping up the photos of her sorority.
Yes.
At the same time they are and throwing them on the fire. And
I must say, very quickly, and it was pointed out by Riff Tracks, that's supposed to encompass a number of years. Yeah. She looks the same age in all of them.
Yeah. In fact, she looked the same age when she was giving birth. Fucking use a different actress, Mark.
Yeah.
Jesus. Your budget can stretch that far, can't it?
Yeah.
But I like that kind of stuff. It kind of played back into she got pregnant young and all that type of stuff that sort of went on for her.
It throws the idea out there that, okay, well, we see that weapon being used later for the murders, but she didn't hurt anyone before that. But then they shot her, so...
Yeah.
Like, it starts to throw things that you think about. You don't just immediately go, oh, well, this is who it is.
Yeah. But I just like that idea of... And it kind of is juxtaposed with her sort of sorority life and everything was kind of ruined because she got pregnant.
Yeah.
And their life's going to be ruined now because they did what they did.
Yeah.
I just kind of dug that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition between the two eras.
What about all the chuckling during the... during this... The two lovers keep on giggling.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange.
I don't know. And on a waterbed... Mate, you're pushing shit uphill there. Oh, you're pushing shit uphill, mate. It is not a steady place. And you're not a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
You haven't got the core strength, mate.
You're still in the amateur ranks. You're still in the NCAA.
Yeah, dude, you're playing in Europe. You are playing in Europe. But I kind of did like all that stuff. When they're talking about pranks to do, one of the girls whips out the dog shit in the bag.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, we should be doing that prank.
I was going to immediately vote for that. Or better still, let's drop one in the newspaper and put it under her bed or something.
Yeah. Exactly. As soon as she said that, I would have been like, yes.
There's my vote.
That's it. You
We're
got my
taking
vote.
votes.
I'll
That's
provide
the
the shit. I've got a double taper ready to go. I'll need a fucking grocery bag. It won't just be for a sandwich bag, mate. I'll need something. Holy shit.
This is where we should have gone.
Everyone, you know what? No one gets hurt.
No one's getting killed. B, prank is far funnier.
Who hasn't laughed at someone who stepped in shit? Come on.
Yeah.
And all it is fucking giggle, then back to the party.
That's right, exactly. Mrs. Slater, you know, outside hosing a shoe. Everyone's still laughing about it. Even she's probably having a chuckle.
Yeah. They got me there. Got me good. The band at the party.
Yeah.
They are carving it up. They are fucking awesome.
I did kind of... Yeah, there was up and downs there, and I do have a little bit to say later on about their input. But as the guys on Riff Tracks said, you know, when they showed up, they're like, introducing even cheaper tricks. And I was like, yeah, spot on.
Yeah,
but they are, yeah, they're giving it everything.
They're called 2 out of 3 doctors. That's what they were called. Or 3 out of 4 doctors. I can't remember.
Oh, wow.
I get the feeling they didn't last long.
I get the feeling they thought this was a break. We're going to get some
Mate, Rossman was paying him in beer.
Yeah.
Why would it be a break?
Because, but you know, every time they come back, the guy is just... I mean, the head's shaking, the hair's going everywhere. He's just... he's right
and you can tell about midway through the film and the party's at full pelt. They are playing their top-notch numbers.
I mean, they've built steadily through the set. You know, 3 to 4 numbers in, they're like, right, it's time to go.
It's time to get out the big guns. Yeah. I get the feeling that there's not a lot of A material.
Yeah. I do too.
Now, one of my favourite sequences, and I think this is, you know, once again, it has probably a bit of a De Palma flavour, is when the girl's down in the basement looking to disable the lights for the pool, and she sees something and hears something, and she kind of sweeps, and it's slow and methodical, and you think that she's going to get killed at any minute, something's going to come out of anywhere, and then it doesn't happen, and then as she turns away, the hand comes out and grabs her and drags her out of shot, and there's nothing more. We don't get anything more, but I just really like the way it was handled. Built up, gave us a bit of suspense. There's a death, but it's an off-screen death.
Yeah, reasonably good.
Yeah, I like that. And the whole ball rolls out towards her.
Yeah.
And the little ball and the light bulb is swinging.
Yep.
I dug all that stuff.
Yeah, I think the idea of the toys in general isn't a bad one.
Yeah.
The Jack in the Box is...
Because that's my next like. The girl picks up the Jack in the Box and opens it, and then behind her you just see a shadow. And then poof, she gets stabbed through the back.
Yeah, and then when Katie's walking through the attic and finding more toys and the costume and stuff, I think it builds kind of nicely and just runs with a theme for the killer, which I think works and adds a couple of creepier elements into a movie that doesn't have a lot of that. And I think it works really well, especially the first time you see the costume. I think it's really well done because you're looking at it and it's really hard to gauge looking at the mask. Like, even when it's a mask, you're just looking at it going, is it a painted face? Is it actually going to... And then it doesn't, but of course they come back to that later on. But I think, that stuff generally worked quite well.
Yeah. I got a laugh out of them dumping the body in the hopper and then rolling it down the street directly into a police car.
Yes.
I thought that was humorous.
It was back and forth because I think it's one of the funniest... It was one of the more entertaining parts of the film, but not for the reasons that they put forward, you know. I mean, pushing the hopper containing a body into a fucking parked police car and then one of the group fucking legging it immediately. It's just a clumsy way of trying to build some of the tension of
the cop
fear
might
that they're
open
going to get caught,
Yeah.
but it was fucking funny to watch.
Yeah.
I don't think they meant it to be that funny,
No.
but the whole time I was kind of just laughing. Like
Yeah.
when the cop even his demeanour, where they fucking ram into the car and you just get this shot of him kind of just looking at him like, what's going on here?
And you're waiting for him to ask to look in the hopper.
Yeah.
Or open the hopper.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of silly because it's better when they're talking about the pool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it seems to be 500 people who want to get into the fucking pool suddenly.
No.
I mean, it is an absolute biohazard. I'm not getting in there.
Getting in there.
Jesus. And so it makes sense that you'd leave the body there, maybe, because no one's likely to look. But also I'm thinking, you need to weigh that fucking thing down.
Yeah, I think the idea is sound enough. They're trying to stretch it out, get some drama out of the fact that they may be discovered and run with that a little bit. It just doesn't quite work out. But it is, I probably would lean towards that being one of the in the likes because I fucking laughed a lot at it. So yeah, and it's an extension of the whole prank gone wrong, which is solid footing for a slasher. Normally, when you start with that, you've got some you can get some mileage to work with. They do it to varying kind of degrees of success in here, but it's usually a solid foundation. And I think the idea works. The idea works for the most part here.
Definitely. The girl's killed in the toilet. I really like the idea of turning all the showers on and the fucking steam is in the air and the condensation's on the door.
Yep.
And then she's killed. I think that stuff really works well. It actually kind of builds a little bit of tension again into it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Which was solid.
Yep.
I don't know why I laughed here. Well, I think I know why, but when the doctor finally fronts, he pulls up out the front, he gets out of his car, and as he's walking across, we sort of pan across, and there's another car there, and good old Peter's pissed as a fart in the front seat. He gives it one of these, he goes, I was like, fucking hell. Winner. Peter hasn't left yet. He's just gone on the piss after he was told to leave.
Well, it explains. I mean, there was a brief second later on where he wanders in. I'm like, what the fuck's he still doing here? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. He's pissed as a fart. He doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. You solved my logic, my questions about the logic.
I enjoyed that for some reason.
Yeah.
I really like the visual of all the dead girls in the pool. They find all the corpses in the pool.
Yeah.
And...
Well, it looks like fucking Creature from the Black Lagoon under there.
Yeah,
so
I know.
It's like...
It's just a cool look.
Yeah.
And it also harks back to what they did. What they initially did.
Yep.
So I kind of really appreciated that sort of coming back.
Yes.
As I said before, I like the idea of using the back end of the hammer to cut her throat.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was quite cool. Again, cutting away nicely. And I did like Vicky actually getting... Because Vicky was your bitch character.
Yep.
And then she gets the fucking cane directly in the eye, which I thought wasn't too bad. Nice little double whammy of deaths. Because we hadn't had tons of deaths. For the most part, they've been spaced out, so it was good to get a couple in quick succession there near the end.
Yeah.
You mentioned the way he looked in his costume. We only briefly see him for a split second. He kind of looks up at her.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, we need to see more of that.
Yeah.
Like, he looks awesome.
Head lifts up. I mean, once it's there, it's kind of expected, but it injects a bit of life into the last minute or two. It's really brief that it's on there, but yeah, I really like it.
It's cool. We never see him again.
No.
See, this is where I've got some questions about it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, so we'll go into that in the dislikes because I wasn't quite sure what had happened at the end.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a dullard.
Well, I don't know if I can fucking clarify anything.
True. It's fucking blind leading the blind.
It's like two cavemen fucking trying to get a spark out of some rocks.
Yeah, exactly. We don't realise you have to knock them together. Now, I said this to you, Jared. The way Catherine walks into the toilet and sees that head.
Yeah.
And then she peels out of there like she's seen the most disgusting thing in history.
Yeah.
It it hit me because it was like that time I saw the triple decker in the Dunnies at the UC. I believe I peeled out in the similar way.
Yeah, I think you probably only peeled a couple of steps before you were on your horses.
I was. And I'm not going to lie to you, mate. That triple decker was as big as your head. I'd say fuck. Essentially, I saw exactly what she saw. It was just fecal matter. And the smell was fucking rancid. I haven't legged it out of a classroom, a toilet, that quickly in my life. People would have thought I'd fucking seen a ghost. They would have. Thankfully, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, so no one saw me.
But who's doing that? Somebody please do me. That should be a fucking criminal offence.
Fucking university students have got too much time on their hands. I mean, was it somebody's scientific experiment? Can we put a bed of toilet paper and then shit in it and then bed again and shit and then bed for a third time? Have we got enough room in
But see, when you think about that,
shit.
if it's one person, I mean, that's a fucking Herculean effort. So it's unlikely that it's one person. So it seems like you had to get multiple people to concoct this scheme together.
Maybe it was a group project. It was the most fucking disgusting group of people in the history of fucking university. I thought fucking Animal House was bad. These freaks. What a stitch up. Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's enough of that.
Yeah, imagine the poor bastard that had to fucking clean it. I would have walked in and just said, I quit. I am not.
And let me tell you something, mate. You couldn't have flushed that thing.
Yeah,
you need to scoop it out.
I need fucking hazard pay if I am going to be involved in this.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, fuck. The last like for me was the Jester was also a cool costume.
Yeah.
It looked equally as creepy.
Yep.
So, choice of costumes and shit, they really got some of that right.
Yep.
And in a way, Jared, I'm kind of impressed that they didn't just then shove the Eric in the Michael Myers type of garb in our face for the last few minutes.
Yes.
They kind of went away from it almost.
Yeah, they did.
Which was interesting, but again, it comes back to a question I've got.
Yeah, there's lots of questions.
Yeah, okay.
You don't want to think too much about it.
What, you got anything else?
No, that was pretty much it for me. I prefer to keep my thinking more to how someone concocts a triple decker rather than these questions that might actually be useful to answer.
Yeah, exactly. You're on the fucking cutting edge of scientific exploration when you're asking those sorts of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, the dislikes. There was a little bit of sketchy acting.
Yes.
One girl in particular who plays Morgan, she does this there's this scene where they're having a chat around the table and they say something about her being alive and she fucking looks at the camera and goes, but how do we know she is alive? Holy shit! Rossman, run another take, mate.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Based on that performance, I can't tell if you're alive.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, there is some sketchy acting. I think Vicky is clearly the best actor of the lot of them.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
And as you said, you get to have a bit of fun with her because she's just out and out. Pain in the
it's
arse.
very much like the remake.
Correct.
The performance by, I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But she plays the same character, and it's the one that everyone sort of gravitates towards in terms of the performances.
Yep.
She's a far better. I believe Vicky is a far better actress than the rest of them.
I think so.
And has had a career on soaps and shit, so she's been around and she's acted for a long time.
Yep.
The prank pulling.
Yeah,
fucking mean-spirited shit.
Grab in a bag and you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Jesus.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not wasting my fucking graduation drinking time on concocting this horse shit.
Yeah.
I'm shitting in a bag, dropping it out the front, set it on fire, ringing the doorbell.
Back to the esky.
Exactly.
Where's the keg? Yeah, I think. And I mean, the second
it's like that shit they pull on Cropsy. I mean, he was a fucking asshole, but still.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt anybody.
That's right. I mean, the second someone produces a gun, I say, hey, I'm out.
Yeah.
At this step, it doesn't matter if I said I was in. You just pulled a gun out. I am out. I am not doing this. Where's the brown paper bag?
Yeah, where's the fucking ShopRite bag? And
the
where is... Look, I've got Canadian clubs to drink. I haven't got time to be shot.
That's right.
You know, I've got better things to do with my time.
And I also like when Katie brings it up that, hey, you know, hang on a minute, we might be going too far. The response she gets is, "Trust me, Katie, have I ever been wrong?" Yeah. I think so.
I think you probably have.
So, yeah. I mean, look at the bloke you're dating, for starters.
Have a look at and then thinking you get it on a waterbed. Fucking silly manoeuvre. Honestly.
Yeah, that's...
Try and roll left. There you go.
Oh, yeah. You know, try to see how many moves you can successfully complete.
You need fucking core strength, as I said before.
I mean, the ants and Mount can't do it.
Oh,
the Three
no.
Stooges can't do it.
You're definitely not doing the answer now. You're only getting one of the Stooges in. If you get any of them.
And I know it's fucking slasher movie logic, but it's really clear in here where multiple people would say,
Oh, no.
no, idea.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. You'll have to shoot us all.
Pretty much.
No, but you know what, though? Don't pull the getting shot in the fucking leg prank. And also, did you fire a live round at that woman's foot?
Yeah, well, that's the question, right?
You've got a
Well, one
whole
of the
gun
questions.
full of live rounds.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you use blanks?
So you seem to pretend to shoot someone with a live round, and then you actually do shoot someone. Like,
And they do the whole, she shoots the lamp.
yeah,
So you know that it's loaded.
yeah, silly.
It's stupid.
Just silly. What sort of planning went into this fucking shit?
I'll tell you what, mate. There's some real arseholes out there. There's a lot of questions to it, but not a lot of answers as to why you do it.
There is.
When you've got
correct.
like 6 or 7 girls standing around, one of them produces a gun and basically insinuates we're going to intimidate this woman.
Yep.
If she was to go to the police, you would be in trouble.
Yep.
Because of the use of the firearm.
Correct.
Doesn't make any sense. That's kind of why the remake wisely goes in a slightly different direction
Yeah.
and
I think,
uses the date rape drug sort of situation.
although it's a little convoluted.
But it's
It is
easier to
better.
mask that it's, you're not firing weapons at people.
That's right. Yeah, we pranked you. Oh, hang on a minute, it backfired and he actually did kill you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that worked better.
Yeah.
And it also, by, building on that, I think the kind of shared guilt idea was handled better in the remake.
Yes.
Like,
because they went 12 months later.
that's
12
right.
months later where
There was no time in between this one. There was no things that they put together as something to lose. Although, I mean, Vicky, even if, no matter what, you're fucking going to lose your career or your college education because you pulled the gun or whatever. But
you're right about the remake is they put in those things like the bitchy character sort of wanting to be in them with the elite.
Yep.
And yeah, that wasn't going to work if she got in the shit and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
and even outside that, the characters that you don't know as much about, you have kind of different reactions to how they're dealing with it. Whereas this one, you really just had kind of Vicky forging on and Katie struggling with it, and that's it.
And basically the rest of the girls just exist wholly and solely to kind of try and clean up the mess.
Correct.
That's kind of all they do in that period.
It makes them sort of bland.
Yeah.
Because outside of Katie and Vicky, there's not much, there's not really anyone.
No.
They're just there to die, basically. Katie gets to react to what Vicky's doing and the silly things that she does, and not much else.
Look, we talked about the pool. I still think you hide her in the basement. For Christ's sake.
Yeah.
The pool
I mean-
suddenly becomes the fucking epicenter of the party.
Yeah. Again, let's hide her in the pool. When have I been wrong? When you fucking pulled a gun for starters.
Yeah.
I know she doesn't say that again, but it's like, yeah.
Vicky, you've been
let's
fucking
stop-
wrong a lot.
Let's stop
Basically.
taking these fucking silly ideas and do something with a fucking modicum of fucking sense.
Yeah.
Let's not drop somebody in a pool that people are going to be fucking milling around tonight.
Well, it would seem that everybody turns up, including a couple of tubby fat asses and who decide to skinny dip in there
Yeah.
for reasons unknown.
But I mean,
And
they've
two
got an
fucking
idea of a break.
That's right. They're about to toss a girl into the fucking pool.
Again, good prank.
Who are only stopped in their quest to do so when someone says there's a wet t-shirt contest. going on inside. And these two fucking scumbags go, where? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, old mate who's saying, I've got to stretch up, and then leans over and gets kicked into the pool. Fucking classic stitch up.
It would only be better if there was a bag of dog shit in there that was on fire.
Yeah, instead of throwing a life preserver, you say, here, grab this, and throw the bag of shit. It's perfect.
Pull out a Canadian glove and head back inside.
Off you go. You know, no one's embarrassed. No one's...
People's reputations are fucked. But hey, it's party time.
That's right. I'll just say, yeah, before you leave, can you just make sure that we make sure that bag of shit sinks to the bottom of the pool? Because no one will find it there.
Let me tell you, Jared, if I was 20 fucking Canadian clubs deep, I'd probably lighting a bag of dog shit on fire and rolling into that pool of my own free will.
That's right. It'd only take me 10, I think.
Right. Okay. It's kind of not that hard. They don't really push too far on mystery, right? It's not hard to work out that she had a baby at the start.
Yeah.
Something went wrong.
Yeah.
They kind of play the whole game of maybe she didn't, the baby died.
Yeah.
And then she's gone cracked.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. They throw that out there, that, yeah, possibly her. The baby was, I mean, it seemed like the longer shot, but it was still in play.
Yeah.
And, of course, the doctor was in play. So it was, yeah, it's
I don't know. Was there two babies?
Oh, I thought there was only one.
Because you had Eric dressed up like Michael Myers, and then she goes straight up into the roof, and there's a guy in the fucking roof.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't Eric, was it?
Well, I thought it was.
It was a quick change artist, then.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, that was a question, right? But it seems more likely that that's the case, isn't it? Like a Jason kind of just fucking showing up somewhere.
Yeah.
You didn't see him quickly fucking, you know, as you said, she went up the fucking into the attic first, didn't she?
Yeah.
So
how could he possibly have got up there and dressed up?
Yeah.
I'm thinking there was a twin. And Rossman forgot that bit. 400k.
I just thought that was just a teleporting, you know.
Oh, teleporting situation. Yeah, I know. I should have known.
Or maybe, you know, Eric's gone to play pranks and this bloke's, yeah, maybe you're right. There's a twin there that's taking over when he's pranking.
Well, again, it's hard to know. I couldn't get my head around what that was.
I'm pretty sure it was just Eric.
Teleportation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I forgot about that. Okay.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of sense in a lot of other things that went on.
No.
I mean, he fucking supposedly spent his summers in an attic that, to me, didn't look soundproof. I mean, someone's hearing a fucking child saying, "Can I come out and play?"
Is that was a sorority house, correct?
Yes.
So does nobody heard him?
That's what I'm led to assume, that she kept him up there for fucking entire summers with no one knowing. That's why. No,
that's right. So where was he before, during...
I don't know.
The non-summers?
Was
with his dad?
Out with the doctor. Well, there was one point where I thought, you know, where she's looking at this kind of dream sequence?
Yeah.
And you see the old lady standing, Mrs. Slater standing there, but then you see like a couple dancing.
Yeah.
But for some reason it fucking put into my head, was the doctor the father? I confused myself even more. Like, shit, what am I doing?
The doctor wasn't the father.
No, I don't think so.
But where was he when it was in summers? Because the idea was that she would get everyone out of the house by the 19th.
Well,
and he'd be there.
Where the doctor was, wasn't it, or something? Wasn't the doctor working in a psychiatric hospital?
Yeah, but you don't get fucking summer release,
well,
do you?
I would have thought someone asked the question, where's this bloke? He's not in his...
Oh, no, he's living in the attic. Just down the road.
But this is the question, right? So we're saying, okay, well, yeah, it's summers when no one's supposed to be there, so that's why no one knows. But if that's the case, why does he need to be in the attic?
Yeah, can't he be roaming around
He can fucking wander around the house as much as he wants if no one's there.
You know he'd be busted as a girl's door sniffing their panties. He would definitely be a Mr. Content.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Absolutely. He's also, you know...
Maybe that's why she puts him in the attic.
Yeah, he's also using the girls' toilets. They know someone, you know, they come back after summer, they'll know somebody's been using that.
Oh, yeah. The toilet seat will be up, the fucking thing of the bloody bowl will be marked. You know it. But I don't get any of that. So where was he when he wasn't with her in the summers? And why does he have to be in the attic during the summer? Because there's no one else there.
Well,
like they go to great lengths to say on the 19th.
In the attic, so someone else has he's got to have a room somewhere else. I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
None of that stuff makes any sense at all. And if he's with the doctor during the non-summer period in the psychiatric ward, wouldn't he just be in a psychiatric ward the whole time?
Well, that's what That's what.
Come on, Rossman.
Sort of. That's what I was thinking, but I mean, yeah, they don't want too much thought around that sort of stuff, really, do they?
They don't. There's a specific scene where a girl's running down a hallway, trying to get away from the killer. She pinballs from side to side and then does the worst fake trip in the history of the fucking world. Crashes down on the ground. I'm just like, these things never look good. Why are we always doing this in these slasher films?
Yeah, not working out.
Put on a sprint, but we can just showcase that he's gaining on you.
Yeah, I understand the panic and things like that. I can more understand, fumbling for a set of car keys and dropping it. But when it's just a basic function of one foot in front of the other.
In quick succession. Yeah. You know what though, Jared? These days with the cars the way they are, fucking Jason have no chance. I'm a one press guy, straight in, press the button on the fucking dash, and we're out of here.
That's right.
I don't have to fumble with anything.
Yeah, correct.
And I'm giving him this one on the way out.
Yeah, but if it's something like a Tesla, I mean, I'd fucking struggle to get.
Oh, the car wouldn't be charged.
That's what I want to see.
I guarantee you, I would never charge.
That's the next wave in slashers. Is like, with the newer technology. Yeah. You jump in the car and then you go, oh, shit, I didn't have it plugged in.
Yeah, I can see that just now. Okay, this is my last dislike, and I'm sure you've probably got a couple more.
Yeah, I've got a few more.
But the use of the medical alert bracelet to tie the doctor to Kate or Catherine, she rings the medical alert bracelet. I understand why she can't call the cops.
Yeah.
Because she's heavily involved in a situation that ended in the death of Mrs. Slater.
Yep.
But in saying that, she could ring the police and say, look, a prank was played. This is what went on. This woman's dead.
Yeah, no, I did suggest a bag full of shit and no one else went for it.
Of course I did. Of course that was the first thing I went for. Yeah. But they weren't going for it. The girls wanted to shoot someone.
I think it perhaps might have worked better if Katie, as the housemate, supposedly with her fucking conscience, because the rest of them didn't seem to have one, but
they were all
if she had made a call using the medical alert bracelet prior or something. Early in the movie, there's an episode or something, she calls with the bracelet, and then later on she finds it, and it kind of
twigs and she rings
refreshes. Oh shit, let's talk to
and the doctor says, what happened? Oh, she's dead.
Yeah.
All right. But it kind of feels forced, and it ends up providing a pretty clumsy kind of explanation for everything.
Yeah.
The doctor turns up and he gives her the injection and everything, and he starts saying things like, I can't, no one can know about what I did.
Yeah.
We did an experimental treatment.
I mean, he didn't mention a twin. He neglected that important detail.
Are you taking the piss out of me? Is that what you're doing? All right, fuck you.
No, I think you're right. He doesn't say what's gone wrong.
But all he says is, I couldn't tell anyone that we used this treatment.
Yeah, I couldn't tell anyone.
What sort of treatment?
Yeah. Obviously, it was a raging success because he said there was multiple failures and she was the last one. I mean, he seems to indicate that everyone before this was a failure, but she fucking pestered him until he let it.
Honestly, this guy's fucking Herbert West. He will inject green serum into anybody.
Yeah. He's got no idea what he's doing. I question whether he's still practicing, because whatever psychiatric facility that was releasing people for summer vacations and things like that, I'm not sure
he's one of the fucking patients. He thinks he's a doctor. He does not real doctor.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
None of that was. It kind of brought him in as a late villain.
And also the fuzzy blue light, did that make him look any younger, or was he...
No, he had not changed one bit. I think they gave him some glasses.
Yeah, pretty much.
He kind of comes in as a late villain, but it's too late.
Yeah.
It amounts to maybe 5 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was
so
kind
they bring him at the start
Yes.
for 5 minutes and then at the end for 5 minutes, and they do similar with Eric where they just have him for the last.
They do show the Doctor midway through where he's talking into the dictaphone. Of course we'd laugh at dictaphone.
I'm just thinking again. I question I want to see his medical license.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's there going. They're trying to play this whole shit. The woman is crazy, Mrs. Slater.
Yeah.
Looking at the temporal lobe or something. She's getting violent streaks.
Yeah.
I mean, at first I didn't think you could fucking scan for that. But he starts going, she's going to get violent. We really need to be careful. And so they're the only scenes he's in. He's in 3 scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
What else have you got?
Well,
you'd have a bit more, wouldn't you?
I've got a couple more.
Yeah, you're not happy.
I wasn't.
This is what gives you 2.5.
I wasn't upset. I mean, number one, honestly, clean the fucking pool.
Oh!
How long are you going to leave that shit like it is? Just clean it.
It looks like the fucking Amazon.
It's shocking.
I mean, just get one of those fucking...
Get a pool scoop for starters. Get the chair out of there. Yeah. Get,
I mean, these people want to... There's quite a few people who wanted to swim in it.
If I am joining that sorority and you're selling me on a pool, I expect to be using the pool.
I expect to be able to use it, yes.
That's correct. So that's a problem. Look, the kills are a little bit light on and not all that scary in a couple of parts. I think what you said was right. The first one's pretty solid, where she's wandering around, the ball comes out. But then the next one seems to be more of the same.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that one as much. She's just kind of wandering around and changing clothes, and then she sees the Jack in the Box. From that point on, I do like it. It's pretty well handled. The gore was a little confusing to me because early on there was none. And I don't mind that if you're trying to build some sequences trying to make it a bit scary with the shadows and the silhouettes, that's okay. But then when they do use it, so the ratings seem to be at the point where they could use it a bit more.
Yes.
And perhaps it was, as we spoke about, the special effects weren't strong enough. But, when...
your money's tight.
Yeah,
probably will look
money's
at
tight.
corners where you could.
Correct. So, when he gets the girl in the bathroom, you just kind of see the handle on the side of her head, and it seems again to be covering effects. So I don't know. I think that didn't work out so
Does that hurt you in 1982? Because Friday the 13th has just been a big hit because you can show all that sort of gore.
Yeah, that's
and you're
right.
trying to kind of... I mean, these movies were already starting to sputter out in 1982, 83.
Yeah.
And something like The Burning even, which had fucking top class effects, still didn't make a splash because we'd seen it all.
Yep.
So maybe Rossman was trying to go, again, being a De Palma, I don't know, he's
acquaintance.
He walked past De Palma somewhere.
Close personal acquaintance of Brian De Palma.
I think so. I think he was a close personal acquaintance of Brian De Palma. They sort of came together at a party one time. I don't know. But the fact that he was kind of going with that kind of mystery element and playing it more as almost like a thriller.
Yeah, and to his credit, I think he does his best to work around not showing much of it and get some effective stuff still on screen.
Agreed.
The party band. Now, you mentioned...
3 out of 4 doctors.
You mentioned 3 out of 4 doctors wouldn't listen to it. You mentioned...
3 out of 4 doctors tell you it's noise pollution.
You mentioned that, stretching the budget, shooting in one location, good idea, and I agree. But the problem with that and squeezing it into one night is, honestly, we heard their whole fucking album.
I know.
Every time there was a kill, we cut back to old mate kicking off a new song.
Yeah, true.
We heard so much of the party.
You needed a few covers in there.
Definitely. Give me something else. We even got to them fucking doing a slow.
Yeah, I know, and they were actually involved in the actual party, like they're putting people together on the dance floor and stuff.
Yeah. So, look, it was a fine line to me. I didn't mind seeing a bit of them, but we seemed to see a fucking whole lot of them.
But also, this is something I'd like to bring up about that too. There's a gigantic party going on in the centre of that house, correct? Mm-hmm. And yet nobody runs into Eric at any point. Nobody sees one of these girls get killed. There are people everywhere.
Yeah.
Surely somebody's seeing something.
Well, you encounter someone somewhere in the house, don't you? I mean, yeah, but
I mean, there's, you'd be going, people would be using the cans and stuff upstairs and things like that.
yeah, I think that that could have done some work. Although at least the end of the party's realistic. We're pushing to the end of the party. The lights are on. People are leaving. And some asshole decides to jump on the piano and fucking keep the party going.
Yeah.
Starts belting out a few tunes.
That's all right, though.
So I'm the kind of guy that would walk out going, what an asshole. And then I'd wander over, grab a beer, and fucking lean up and join the sing-along.
Well, I was going to say you'd be the guy at the fucking piano.
Probably. Well,
I, of course, would scoff at you being there and immediately go hunting through open eskies for anything I could find.
yeah, who drank my last Canadian club?
I'm going outside.
Well, I would expect once I'd finished my bottle of Captain Morgan, refused to go home, started playing the piano badly and belting out a tune, I would have half expected you to walk out nothing but your crackers and incoherently call me, point fingers and yell at me incoherently until the only word I could make out was scumbag.
And then collapse onto the couch.
I see, that's
I mean, this is purely hypothetical. Isn't it?
Never proven.
Yeah, there's only one person who can tell anybody about this particular story.
Yeah.
But you were also an unreliable narrator.
Speaking of unreliable narrators, I don't know whether your words were indecipherable because of your intoxication or mine. So at that point.
Oh man.
And I was also at the level of the alcohol level where I couldn't really debate you on the scumbag part of the accusation. The rest of it I couldn't decipher, and the scumbag I could not debate.
But I think that's probably why I attacked you with it. You were in a vulnerable moment. You were not in a position to defend yourself. Oh shit! Yeah. All right, let's bring it. Let's dial it back now. Have you got anything else?
No, other than wanting to be at the party, no.
Oh yeah. Look, I will say this as a sort of a late positive. I actually think the sort of frat sort of stuff looks pretty good.
Yeah.
In a sense of they give you an idea of what it might be like to live in one of those houses, and it kind of feels pretty good.
Other than a couple of Van Wilders at the party. There's a couple of blokes who look 50.
There's one where the girl goes, that guy over there's looking pretty hot, and fucking cuts to him, and he's winking. And he looks fucking hell. I thought he was one of the bloody chaperones.
Yeah.
Thinking girls, get your
there's a
fucking
couple of
eyes
blokes,
checked.
There's two blokes that get a line each before that. There's just two of them and they say something to each other. I was looking at the pair of them going, you guys have classes to plan for tomorrow.
Yeah. This was a no teacher event, fellas. You should head off. Head home. You got things to do.
Yeah.
All right, so that's everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. That was The House on Sorority Row. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrilly Podcast Australia and at Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com. We're also on Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Make sure you rate and review us on all the platforms if you can. That would be perfect for us to spread the word. Next episode, keep an eye on the Facebook page. We've got a few things in the works, Jared.
Yeah.
Some very some more classic sort of stuff, I would say.
More notable films.
Correct. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.